Good morning, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this webinar for FCMS. People are exponentially signing in at this point in time. Everyone gets their notification typically at the same time, and it takes them about a minute or two. But I appreciate those who are the early birds of the world and can kind of sign in and do whatever you can to catch the early bird. But I can tell it's kind of a hockey stick at this point in time as people are ramping in. But I appreciate everybody's on time. For that, I'll give you a quick reward in kind of giving you some understanding of what we're going to talk about today. For FCMS, of which in the alphabet soup that we're going to throw at you, that stands for Fanvil Cloud Management System. And what this Fanvil Cloud Management System is, it's really a platform that has been designed in the cloud that really has a focus on access control as well as its supporting endpoints as well. And I'll get more into that moving forward. But coupled with me today are two other, it's a partner as well as another staff member here, both Chris Turcott, who's the vice president of NTS Direct, who's our master distributor. In addition to that, we also have Hector Zarita, who is our technical contact. And the great thing about one of our differentiators when you are on board is that Fanvil is a manufacturer along with our master distributor who basically stocks all of our products that we'll be talking about today is all local. So the good news is if you need both commercial as well as technical support, we have access to that. And so that's the good news. So it's great for you to introduce to us. For some housekeeping, I have actually taken the slide set that we're going to provide for FCMS and uploaded a PDF file in the materials section. So you don't need to sort of take any notes or whatever like that. When you have a chance in your go to webinar plugin, just download materials and you'll get a PDF file and you can have it for your reference. In addition, everybody that's on board is actually muted. So if you wish to have any questions, all of us will be online to really stay here to address any questions that you might end up having. And we'll stay as long as we need. If we can't answer your questions, then by any means, we'll go ahead and take an action item and ask you to come in. I'll actually have my contact information as well as Chris, as well as Hector. We'll be here to answer it. Just send us an email to do that, and we'll follow up with you as soon as we can. So having stated that, let me start this webinar now that most of the people are signed on board. What is FCMS? It stands for Fanvil Cloud Management System, and it really is designed to really support our access control and security products. And as you can see right below you, it really involves a mobile application as well as a control application that people who are at the installation level as well as the property management level terms have gone so that you can go ahead and manage the access control or the door phones that you put in from Fanvil. I'm going to go ahead and speak to a little bit about that, but this is a great introduction to really provide those who are out there. It's more than just a mobile application. It also provides a lot of tiering. So what I'm going to tend to do is to really steer all of our partners or our prospects in the right direction so that if you are interested in deploying or have already deployed our products, it'll actually give you a good way to know which way to go and to move forward so that you can really have all the shortcuts you need to get up and running in our cloud management system moving forward. Now, having stated that, I'm just going to go over, as well as Chris and I, to take care of sections 1, which I'm just going to, for many of those who are really encountering NTS Direct and Fanvil for the first time, we're just going to go ahead and provide very quick 1 or 2 slides on each of the companies to let us know who we are. Then I'm going to go over really a solution overview, which really gives you a very high level discussion about where things are and what's really important here in the solution overview are the terms that are really used throughout, because it's more than just providing mobile access. The cloud management system also provides tiering so that we know the roles that installers actually do and the roles of the end user, so that when you are in providing this solution into the marketplace, you know how to configure this system with you. And if you need some roles or some tips, then you have myself, Hector, as well as the staff at NTS to kind of help you through this ordeal, of which we'll go ahead and handle section 3 and 4, which will be headed by Hector, finally ending with FAQs moving forward. So with that stated, let's go ahead and move on to the section 1 of NTS Direct, and we'll start off with our introduction to our master distributor, NTS Direct. I'll pass the mic over to Chris Turcott right now.
Thanks, Tommy. And first and foremost, good morning. I certainly appreciate everybody taking time out of their morning to join NTS Direct and Fanvil for this webinar. I want to take a few minutes here to introduce NTS Direct if you're not familiar with us, and go over what we bring to the table within this channel. We've got over 20 years of experience in distribution and fulfillment. And it's not just the traditional kind. Our entire approach has been built around today's fast-moving and constantly evolving channel space. We work with partners across VoIP, networking, video conferencing, physical security, unified communications, and collaboration. And we do it in a way that redefines what distribution can look like. Now, what sets us apart is how we support our resellers. When you work with NTS Direct, you're not just getting boxes off a shelf. You're getting competitive pricing, flexible financing options, API integrations, custom marketing collateral, and real-time support whenever you need it. And behind all of that, a 300,000 square foot facility and a fully staffed lab that allows us to offer large-scale provisioning services, branding, and customization services. Whether you're a service provider, an MSP, a VAR, or a distributor, we can scale to your needs. At the end of the day, we value relationships. And I think if you've worked with us, you know that. We treat every partner like they matter, because they do. And we work hard, really hard, to prove that value of our offering every step of the way by giving you the tools and the support you need to succeed. We can move on to the next one, Tommy. Now, as we all know, the telecom industry is going through constant transformation. And at NTS Direct, we've made it our mission to stay ahead of the curve. We are really focused on delivering more than just products. We're committed to creating a better, more seamless experience throughout the entire buying process. And that really starts with our team. Everyone at NTS is trained not just to sell, but to truly connect, to understand our customers' needs, and to emphasize and to provide thoughtful and knowledgeable solutions. We've built out a full suite of value-added services to make life easier for our partners. And that includes things like 3PL and reverse logistics, dedicated provisioning services, API integration, custom branding opportunities, device as a service programs, buyback programs, and more. Now, our staff takes pride in being more than just order takers. They're coached well. They're certified on all of the major brands, including Fanvil, and they operate as a strategic partner and trusted advisor. And that's something you hear me speak a lot about in my travels. At the end of the day, our goal is simple. It's to be human-centric, to be helpful, and to be the kind of partner that actually makes your business better. So we've partnered with Fanvil many, many years ago, and we've worked extremely hard to collaborate with them in completing their mission, and that is ultimately to create and provide top-notch products and change the way we communicate today. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Tommy and Fanvil so they can discuss in detail FCMS and we can answer questions here at the end. Back to you,
Thank you
Tommy.
very much for the introduction, Chris. What I'm going to show today is just a quick two-slide overview for Fanvil. And Fanvil, as you know, we are highly dependent upon NTS Direct to deliver our solutions. Fanvil is a manufacturer of endpoints. Practically 99% of all of our endpoints are all IP SIP based. And to give you an idea, all of our products as well as our offices are headquartered in China as well as a manufacturing base in Vietnam. And we use all of these different locations to our advantage. And not only do we have staff located here in China, but you also have myself as well as Hector that you'll hear later on today to really provide you with manufacturer, commercial, as well as technical support so that once you're out there in the field and you need some support, there is some helping hands that we can go ahead and provide that to you. What is it that we actually manufacture? We actually provide a whole plethora of solutions. My idea here is not to really go through everything, but really to focus in on our access control. And our access control really is the driver that provides what we call our FCMS, which is outlined here, which is really these two outlines here. And it contains both a control panel as well as a mobile application. When we first came out with access control, we listened to the marketplace that everybody came to us and stated, hey, look, I really needed mobile access control. And that was sort of the driver that kind of put us in putting together a mobile application that is, by the way, hosted on local Amazon sites, by the way. So for people who are concerned about data security, we actually provide servers so that you're concerned that your content is actually on local servers, so you don't necessarily have to worry about that. So we've actually taken that cloud-based solution and provide these type of things where people that are in control, such as the installers or the property managers, have the console ability to be able to manage access of incoming and outgoing tenants or staff members of many businesses, as well as mobile applications in control of our i6 indoor stations, as well as access control here. So what I'm going to do now is really kind of get more into some of the ways that we talked about. Now for local support, here's my contact information here. This is my contact, and you can give me a call anytime, as well as Hector Zarita, who heads our tech support department. And you could really reach us both via email or provide us a call. And this is our contact information. And for those who really signed on late, there is a soft copy of this presentation that you could download in the materials section so that you have a PDF copy for your own future reference. Now let's kind of get into the solutions overview of what FCMS is. That's what we are here for. Now let's go over terminology. Now, when you go over terminology, there are really two types of cloud management systems that we have. When we came on board and we introduced all of our products, Fanvil's been around for 22 years, and we've actually had a cloud-based systems that manages all of our products, everything from what you see today, from access control, phones, intercoms, broadcast systems, etc., were all managed by the Fanvil device management system, which was done in the cloud. That's one scenario that we have. And what we're introducing today is really Fanvil Cloud Management System, which is really focused in on access control. Because the way you cloud manage access control is very different than how you manage the deployment of phones, hotel phones, etc. Because in that scenario, very often you want to go ahead and manage phones, because once phones are set up, outside of just updates, the phone scenario just has to sit there and work like a refrigerator so that your contacts and your audio communication, as well as in some case video, has to work like something that's rock solid. On the other case, with access control, things are very dynamic. In a case of business, hospitals, or even multi-dwelling units, tenants are coming in and out, and therefore you have to assign roles where you have to have property management platforms that you could end up having where the end user in an MDF solution, or in the case of an SMB, you want people to manage remotely when they're on site, as well as being able to manage, when they're offsite as well. So we provide the vehicle to do these two. Now, one of the gotchas is that for people who are using our device management system, you cannot use or manage our access control system using FDMCS as well as FCMS at the same time. So hopefully after this presentation, you can kind of understand the roles and process of our access control and see which one best serves your particular needs. And then you can pick and choose which one you want to use, because FDMCS, our device management system, does not offer the mobile application, but does give you the application to manage devices and do remote management. But as well, our cloud management system provides the same, but also tiers out the different roles and processes that our installers will actually face when they're out in the project. So right here we have the Fanvil Link app. And this Link app is really applicable to both Apple computers, and iOS systems, as well as Android systems. You can download this from the store now, and this is primarily done from an end user standpoint. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this FCMS and go from the bottom up, meaning that you can go from the end user rising all the way to the top. And the analogy I like to use very often is a very similar ring application. In my home, I have a security system that I use to monitor activity that goes around my house. And so I typically have a mobile app, and I don't get concentrated with this type of material because somebody who's managing, my security system is somewhere at headquarters that manages my on and off site. But I can go ahead and take a look who's on my property, when they showed up, and all those type of things through my mobile app. We have that system too, and this is really geared for the end user. On the other hand, we also have ideas here so that you can actually have a property management platform where you can have a person that's been assigned to manage their own property or manage a community of properties. That's why we actually define some terms that we use here: a community or a villa. In my case, where I have to manage my own unit, this is my villa or my house or my room, depending on which way you want to use it. That's my interface, and I only use this one app to manage my application. On the other hand, you might have a different scenario in a multi-dwelling unit. Say if you're in a high-rise condominium in Miami, Florida, you have a big community, a very tall building which manages several families in one big building. In that case, you manage an entire community that's centralized about one scenario. And in that case, you have a remote property manager there that really handles all the incoming of new tenants, expelling of old tenants, and vice versa. In an SMB perspective, you might have new staff members, or staff members have decided to move on to different companies. Again, there's a lot of rotation in that. We actually have a whole separate property management platform that we have put together so that that property manager can go ahead and manage that community. Or in my case, I just manage the villa, which is this application. Or you can have a higher level platform, and this is all controlled by the next level of property management that I'm going to show next. Now I want to kind of show a more higher level, because I showed you in the previous slide on the end user platform. Because from an end user perspective, they're just the people who are living there, or there are just staff members of businesses that want to gain access to remote access. Now I'm going to go from here and say, where do you go from the property manager moving backwards? As we mentioned above, this property management platform, it starts off at distribution here. And what a distributor does is, yes, there is a role of which we go ahead and provide application licenses. And really the person that really installs at the top is what we call the installer. Now, we realize that installers really have two different scenarios. When I say installer, sometimes that person just goes ahead they get hired as a third party, installs this access control, and yet gets assigned to a different property manager site, of which that installer will be able to assign that property manager, as well as in many cases, that property manager may take on device management and maintenance. They may have a quick deployment, all of these different applications. You might be able to install that type of privileges to that property manager, so that gives them that property access. On the other hand, you also have installers that play an IT role. I come across many installers which says, you know what? I install this platform for a whole regional campuses full of businesses, but I'm also the IT person in that. In that case, that installer not only provides the installation themselves, but they have to create a property management account so that they play both roles, because this property manager could be a network of dental offices or attorneys' offices that may not have an IT person, but the installer happens to be the IT person. So that person now not only plays an installer role, but also provides property management role. But then yet at the top level, from a strategic or a tactical management of access control, it is really juggled between these two roles within the organization. And that's when the installer assigns the licenses that is provided by distributor or sub-distributor, depending on which network is done. The distributor provides a license and the sub-distributor provides that license and does, in essence, a pass-through. And it depends on what the installer wants to do. If the installer is just a third-party installation, they can go ahead and do that and provide all of those property and rights to the property manager. So the property manager, the third party, and has all the different roles that you can provide here. Or if the installer is an IT manager, they can maintain an installation and manage a whole campus wide full of different properties. So you have to really judge how you want to assign different, what we call projects. And that way the property gets managed separately depending on what your role is. And the good news is that FCMS is really designed to entertain all of those different roles so that you can go ahead and provide that level of property. And this is kind of how it works at a high level, whether you work with our distributor directly or work through one of our sub-distributors. They will be your interface to be able to provide additional licensing and applications. Now let's dig a little bit deeper about what these applications are all about. Now let's talk about the different licenses. There are really three different scenarios that you can work with. Fanvil realizes, why do we charge a license? We want to make this license very, very light on installation, because this is just a one-time fee. Is one thing that I wanted to mention, is that we go ahead and provide a one-time. There are no recurring charges from Fanvil's perspective. So when you look at two rooms here, there's a room, or this could be a villa, or it could be an SMB at this high level. And what we do here is scenario one. Let's talk about the first scenario. This could be a business, a villa, or perhaps one business complex that you can buy one indoor station. What is this indoor station? It is nothing but a flat panel display that works along with our access control, because not everybody carries a mobile device with them, so that when you have somebody at the front desk or somebody in the office or in their condominium or their home, they could look at the flat screen and say, who's at the door? Is it Domino's Pizza? Is it Pizza Hut? Or is it the delivery person? They could actually see, push a button and actually engage in a discussion and actually provide any open, release of gates. And when you buy one of these indoor stations along with access control, it comes with 5 or more what we call mobile app accounts free with that one. So if you have a villa in your home and you happen to have 5 people there, then it'll give you 5 mobile accesses where you can provide family members or assigned staff members access to give mobile access. So that allows privileged staff members access to provide remote access to give, remote gate control. It could be just one security. On the other hand, if you're not interested in installing an indoor station, the other station here is there is no indoor station. You just want to use our access control. That is fine as well. If you don't need mobile app accounts, that's fine. You can just use our access control. And by the way, our access control, if you just want to go ahead and access just the mobile application and use internal communication, there really is no need for third-party cloud-based apps. You only need those cloud-based apps if you're calling outside. And in our case, if you use our Link application and all of that is included. What if you wanted to use beyond the 5 application accounts? Say you have a family of 6 and you want to give all of your family members, you can buy additional applications and you can work through the installer, which will work through our distribution channel to get those additional applications, and the installer role that within FCMS would be able to assign that license to your particular project. And it's very, very simple, and that's how it kind of works. In addition to scenario 3, which I kind of highlighted, you could have a scenario where you have a very big family, or you have additional managers as well as security that's more than 5. You can buy additional license beyond the 5 base, and you can work with our distribution channel, such as NTS, to get those licenses that you need to fit your particular role. Now, that's what it nice boils down to, is that license is actually bound to the room. So the good news is, unless your room goes elsewhere, these licenses are also rotatable, meaning that you can change, staff members or whatever like that. We're not going to charge you additional because it stays with the location of where the business is. Now let's look at a different thing. When you look at it from a flowchart perspective, it really does start off from Fanvil, where we'll go ahead and provide blank distribution license, and then the distributor will go ahead and provide these licenses to the installer, which is really the high-level role. And the installer will really take a blank vanilla license and be able to assign the project to each and different property management roles. Now, as I mentioned earlier, each installer, if you're an installer that happens to be the IT role for a particular campus full of businesses, then you actually take on both of these roles. So you'll be assigning that license to that particular property that you'll manage yourself. Or if you just happen to be just a pure third-party install and have somebody else install it, you can install your role as well as the property management role downstream, so that they have the ability to go ahead and assign these things. So, but the installation is really based on the top level role as installer. And this is where you can provide the authorization, where you provide the authorization on giving different rules and different people property management rules. And again, at the high level in distribution, what's in it for you? You can get an idea from a tactical perspective on seeing, how many licenses are out there, what's in your inventory, et cetera, that you can go ahead and provide installation. So each role has their different sections, so that you can go ahead and move on in your role within the organization. Obviously here, these are the different endpoints that I want to provide. We have very high-end endpoints, and these are all the different supported models as of today. Everything from big to screen type of access control, where we have keyboards on both big screen as well as different type size, into more simpler applications where we have one button interfaces that have all video based cameras, even some narrow ones that have real estate restrictions for really narrow beam applications. This is an example of an indoor station where we just provide a flat screen, where you may want to have right at the receptionist desk, where the person is responsible for addressing that. This could be at the office or remotely. It really depends on how you want to do it, or inside your condominium or inside your apartment building. It depends on how you want to do it. And for many of the cases with high-rise condominiums, we also have a touch-based console phone, where all of the calls could come into a central model person, or even a big receptionist, and they can go ahead and see and play the interface between with them and all the different staff levels of your businesses or MDUs, depending on how you want to do. And all of these things provide complementary licenses depending on how you want to combine these things and move forward. And with that stated, my last section here before I pass this on to Hector, this is really sort of the basic usage process and how different roles are done. Again, this is just an outline to kind of showing the different roles. We, of course, as Fanvil, as a manufacturer, we provide the activation email, and they'll go on and the distributor will send activation email as well as the installer. I'm not going to go here and go over all of these different logins and et cetera, but right here, whether you're a distributor or sub-distributor, that's the installation of a provider of the installer. So they work through distribution channels to get whatever access that they need to do. And the top level installer will then assign a separate property manager, or if they happen to be an IT person as well, you could take on both of these roles. And here are really the roles that I have outlined for you. And hopefully this is a little bit more straightforward as you move forward, because the installer will activate the login, pair the device Mac library into these specific licenses that it'll take to go move forward. And they can go ahead, and this person really assigns all the blank licenses to the different property managers. And again, this is just a one-time fee that people do it. Why do we do this one time? It is really to help offset, because we realize that people are conscious about data security, and we again license local Amazon servers so that your information stays locally on the servers versus having to go wherever you feel comfortable, so that you know that it's actually on premise. And obviously for the end user, you have the application here, which provides all of the end user applications which they need for monitoring, answering audio and video calls, and provide remote door unlocking. Okay? So that's kind of like my overview and what I want to provide to the audience. And now we're going to dig a little bit deeper, of which I'm going to go ahead and pass the role on to Hector Zarita. So Hector, if you can go ahead and take it from here, I'll just go ahead and you can take on the floor from here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tommy, for the introduction, as well, Chris, for great introduction. Okay, I will try to move a little fast in order to scoop all the points. Okay, uh, everyone, for good morning. Now, okay, we'll address the point number 3, okay, of the webinar, which is related to the use and configuration actions that can be performed on the FCMS platform through the installer and property manager accounts. As Tommy mentioned, because the FCMS platform is composed of 4 specific roles, uh, this makes it a robust platform. So it is recommended that you only pay attention to the actions that are performed specifically in the type of FCMS account you are using. We know that the vast majority of attendants here will be using the FCMS reseller or installer account, okay, and property manager. So from now on, we'll focus on these FCMS account types or roles, okay? Uh, in the case of the installer account, each of the actions you can perform is listed below, okay? Um, After reviewing this slide, I share a live demo, okay, with you to walk through each of the stack below, so you can better understand how the platform works. The first step, in the case of the installer account, is to apply for an FCMS installer account. To do this, you must contact your Fanvil distributor, in this case NTS Direct, to submit the request. You only need to provide the email address, okay, that will be associated with your FCMS account. The second step is to unlock the MAC address of each of your device. It is important that before this step, your distributor, I mean NTS Direct, has previously added these MAC address to their FCMS account and assigning them to your FCMS installer account. Otherwise, the MAC address cannot be added to the FCMS installer account. This was intended as a security measure and provides greater transparency for the distributor and the integrator, okay? Once the installer has successfully added the device and they are displayed online in the platform, you can move on to the next step, which is creating projects and assigning device to those projects, okay? These are currently 3 types of projects, as Tommy mentioned, that can be implemented. We have Villa, Community, and Office. Community is generally used because it involves the use of door phones, indoor units, and app users, more to control actions, okay? Access control actions. In fact, this will be the example we'll use today as a reference during the live demo. So basically, the project type is select, then the device that will be used in that project are assigned, and then corresponding licenses are assigned depending on the device area, okay? I mean, the license will be depend of the device, as Tommy mentioned in the last slide, Okay, this will like generally be the main actions performed by the installer. However, the installer also have the option to add residents, I mean end users, app users, create app users as well as authorize them. This last action doesn't necessarily have to be performed by the installer, okay? As the property manager also have the privilege to do so. And in fact, it is generally done by the property manager. But just to understand that installer and property manager have the privilege to, create end user, I mean app users, okay? Uh, so as the final step of the installer, the FCMS property manager must create the account and then assign the corresponding project to that property manager, okay? After the installer has created the FCMS property manager account, the property manager user will receive an email with the activation link for their account. So once the property manager logs into their FCMS account, they will be able to see the project previously created by the installer as well as the device associated with that project. At this point, the property manager will be able to add residents and assign an app account only if this has not been previously done by the installer, okay? An action that is performed only by the property manager is everything related to the access control method that each resident will have associated. Here, the property manager can define information for each resident, such as facial recognition, card use, and local password information. Another action performed solely by the property manager is everything related to the access control methods that each resident will have associated. Here, the property manager can define information of residents, okay? Door unlocking locks, check in real time, people with take the access control, okay? Can be sent push notification in the same time on all residents simultaneously, okay? Basically, they are the actions that the property manager can perform. Okay, so before entering the live demo, let's look at the actions performed by the last user in the FCMS chain, which will be the app user, okay? The app is currently available for download on the Google Play Store for Android and the App Store for iOS, okay? So next slide, Tommy, please. Once the installer or property manager enable the app user, okay, that user will receive an email similar to the one shown on screen, which will be displayed the user credentials as well the associated QR code to log in to the app. The user chooses whether to log in using their user credentials or via the QR code, okay? Next slide, Tommy, please. After the app user login, okay, something similar will appear. Okay, from here, the app user can activate the app for family members. Depending on the license associated with the project, they can activate a certain number of family members. Okay, the procedure is quite simple. After selling management, click on the add option and the required information will be displayed to enable the account for the family member, username, email, where the user credential will be sent, and the QR code. Okay, yeah. Other actions the app user can perform include creating temporary QR codes generally used by visitors. Any visitor who uses the QR code between the defined time will be able to access it through the device select to use that QR code. Okay. Next slide, Tommy, please. Yeah, another action the app user can perform is to configure access control actions for family members. For family members, such as adding a face, password, card, and billing unlocking. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, the property manager and the app user has specific actions defined. So just need to pay attention of that actions to understand better the platform. So before go to the last point, I will show my screen, okay, just to take a look at the demo. So 1 minute, I will show you. Okay, FCMS. Okay, now you can see on the screen the installer account. Okay, here I already have 2 device 80. Okay, remember that in order to the installer can be the device in the platform, it's necessary to the distributor previously can be added to the platform. So I already have 2 devices online. Okay, so I already have all team to create a project. Okay, the next step is create a project. Okay, in that case, I will select community. Okay, I already have the prophetic manager create as well. Okay, the first project, I would like to take a look to the information here. You can see all the information here. You can select different rooms in order to put in each room 1 device or door phone device. Okay, I already have 1 door phone in the intercom device section that maybe will be the main door. Okay, and in each of the apartments we have, I mean, 1 room will be associated with the apartment. Okay, and each apartment will be 1 license that corresponding to up to 5 app users. Okay, it's really easily to understand. It's only to practice. Okay, so I already have the project. I already have the prophetic manager create. So let me show you the another. I mean, the prophetic manager account. Okay, here in the install, yeah, okay. Here is the property manager account. I will have, let me, I don't know, because it's not show you the property manager. 1 minute, please. Okay. Yeah, I will come back to the installer account before the time. So I will show you here. Remember when we talked about the possibility to the installer have the option to create end users. Okay, when you add 1 device to the room, okay, you have the option to put the number when the user from the app, okay, will be sorry for the door from the door phone will be press in that case 5 to make the communication to the app user and the indoor unit. I will show you throughout the video right now, but that action can be applied for the property manager as well. In that case, the installer has already created the user, so I don't need necessary to create from the end user. So let me show you here before enter to the aspirant question. I will active my camera. So yeah, let me show you throughout the examples here in my phone. I will have 1 indoor unit, okay, and 1 door phone I64. I will open my application, okay. So here I already have the 2 devices associated with the project, okay. I have the door phone and the indoor unit. From the door phone, the app user can be different actions. Can be the action to call, okay, directory call from the app user to the door phone.
Hector, are you showing this right screen? I only see the installer screen.
Okay, let me stop my screen now. Do you see my video? Hello, Tommy. Do you see my video now? Okay, thank you, Ronald. Yeah, here in my app, okay, I have the option to control the door phone directly and the indoor unit. I can make a call directly from the application to the indoor unit, okay, as well. Is I press 5 in the door phone, maybe one visitor, okay, press the number that's already defined to make the call. The call will be received in the door phone as well in the application, okay? Yeah. So obviously you can have the option here to send open door actions, okay? So it's a little example, it's a little live demo to the action that you can perform uh, throughout the application, okay? Let me, please Tommy, go back to the presentation. Yeah, just to finish the number 5 section, and it's about the FAQ. Okay, so yeah, we have different situations that you need to consider in order to maybe resolve any situation. So the first one is what can the device be added to the FCMS? We have two possible scenarios. Okay, the first one, okay, when the MAC address associated and device is already in the FDNCS, okay, it's not allowed to A in FCMS. I mean, only one device can be added in Edge platform, but not simultaneously in boot platform. Okay, so just pay attention on that. You just need to release the MAC others in the another platform, and then you can add in the FCMS. The another scenario, okay, that prompt is showing. Okay, basically you need to contact the service provider to have the device added. I mean, the distributor to have added and assigned to your installer account. Okay. Things to know when the device first connects to FCMS, basically, okay, after the device first connects to FCMS, upon the first restart, the device will clear all previous configuration, okay? So just pay attention on that, make the backup before all the configuration, export the configuration, and save the device related information in advance, okay? Yeah. The another one, how to access the device web interface. We have different procedures, okay, depending of the device. In the case of the indoor unit, Linux indoor station, Android indoor station, I think that that information you will have in the presentation. So only pay attention of that items before make the implementation. Okay. Next, Tommy, please. Yeah, more information about the situation that you can find at the moment you made the installation, okay? Why was the device 80 but doesn't show as registered successful? We have different situations, only pay attention the recommendation shown on the screen, okay? Mainly the firmware version that need to the device to can be operate in the platform, okay? It's important to know that only a specific firmware version can be used to the device in order to operate in the platform. Next one, please. Yeah, the last one, device registration relate issues. Okay, when from the web interface device, okay, it show the 40A error on the device web interface. It's maybe because the app not being activated. Okay, so the end user, the app user need to log in, need to activate the app account in order to can be show you register from the web interface. Okay. Yeah. This is all the information for the points. Okay. Now we enter to the answer and question section. I think that throughout the chat, I don't know, Tommy, if you already answered the question throughout the chat.
Yeah, right here. Thank you very much, Hector. Appreciate that. I do have, Can the Fanvil system integrate with CCTV? I'm not sure what the interface level is with CCTV. I think there must be some API between us and them. It's something we may be open to, but it's something that we could explore. But I don't believe it's something that we can do to provide it. I mean, I don't know what the interface level is, so that's kind of it with that. There's another question that came up. We deal a lot with city, county government sites, have been able to offer solutions that are NDAA certified. Does Fanvil have the certification? Yes, in fact, all of the devices that Fanvil produces exclude the blacklisted vendors, so that yes, we are NDAA compliant in terms of that, and we make sure that it can be sold for those particular applications. As I mentioned in our earlier slide, there are factories that we have in Vietnam, in which on a case-by-case basis, we can review specific projects and actually have devices built outside of regions, but those are done on a case-by-case basis, as well as the devices that we sell globally today. They are all made and are NDA compliant. Any other questions? Yes, there's another one. Is there an ability to create logins or QR codes for users with generic emails, yeah, exactly. I mean, in this case, we use QR codes so that you can really take it and make the login as simple as possible by using your mobile application, scanning it so that all of the needed linkages and applications to that access control is done anonymously so that the person next door to you can't read it, but it also provides easy access for the end user so that that end user can go ahead and gain access to that. Can we tie in with 3CX users or as an independent? Oh, absolutely. I mean, these are all, again, I have to remind you, are all SIP-based endpoints. So whether it's 3CX or any other third-party cloud-based or on-premise based application, you can easily interface these devices with any of the different things. This was really made to talk more about the management control system. But if you wanted to have it controlled through a third-party rep, absolutely, you can use any SIP-based cloud manufacturer to support that. What does it mean when a license is assigned to the room? Yeah, terminology is very important. So take, for example, a room could be also associated with a home or an SMB, or like a single office, which means that take, for example, one house can contain a front door, back door, or perhaps one door that's up front, but it's really meant to be one entity. That's what it really is meant to be. So if in an MDU situation, that would be considered a room in many cases. You could have multiple indoor stations where you can actually have one door access, and you can have one indoor station in each of the bedrooms, including the main kitchen if you wanted to. So there could be many rooms, but one room is almost equivalent to basically an entity, like a house, a small business, or an apartment in that case. It's almost like one party in many cases. In the case of an MDU, you have one big high rise that can contain 65 or 100 different separate businesses. And in that case, it'll be 100 or 165 separate rooms or separate villas within that organization. I know the terminology can get a little bit difficult. Remote connection to web UI, absolutely. You can log into many of our not only do you have FCMS, but you can also log into the devices remotely, just like you would on many of our SIP-based products. You can go ahead and log in to these devices and update software. You could also provide configurations to them as well. In addition to managing logs, you also have some device management level as well. Maybe not as much as the device management level, but enough to kind of get you where you need to get it going in. Let me see. Uh, what is a link to start FCMS? Well, what you can do is once you buy one of these units, you can work with our distributor to go ahead and get you an activation link to get set up so that you can work with whomever you're buying from to get an FCMS account, and they will send you an activation link. It's the same process as you would in assigning a device management account. You can work with either Russ or we could assign a distributor or NTS with you. You can work with NTS and they'll go ahead and assign an activation account for you to do that. Let's see. Uh, adding key fobs through the cloud. Yes, if you're adding key fobs, then that would be a role of the property manager role. So as an installer, you can really log in into an property management role and have that, and you can actually log in those specific key fobs, or you can import as a CSV file or a spreadsheet file all of the access key fobs that you have from other systems, so that the key fobs that are used on our access control is really standard based. I don't know what the frequency is, but they are standards based key fobs that you can kind of import, and you can manage those things through our FCMS account. Auto pushing the call list update once a new family member are added. Let me see. Auto pushing the call list update once a new family member is added. Yeah, in the case of you having like a single home, if you have a new family member that's added, you could, if you're assigned that as an end user, if you have open accesses, if you have like say 3 people and you have an access of 5, you can add a cousin, son, daughter if you wanted to your user account. And because if you have like one app based and you have several people with that user, you can assign that. If you happen to assign something that exceeds 5, you can get an additional license through, our distributor or your installer, depending on how you want to go ahead and do that. Let's see. I'm going through. Let's see. Well, that's kind of it as I'm going through. Had issues working with an Android screen. Yeah, again, the Link app is actually openly available in both the iOS app as well as the Android store. So if you take your mobile application, go there, you can actually get access to the mobile app and work backwards, but you also need someone to access and provide you with those applications in the upfront. So far, this is what I have, and we'll stay on for as long as necessary. Can I have a call with tech support rep to ask some more technical? Absolutely. I highly suggest that you download the PDF version of this application. The contact information is there to both Hector, myself, as well as you could reach Chris Turcott, and the thanks that's right in front of you now. All 3 of us are here to serve your needs and to get to the next step. So we're here to help you out. The number is actually listed off the top. I don't know, but it's actually listed on, I think, slide number 3 or 4 on this application. If I have to resort it here, let me get access to here. Here we go. If I had to list it, you can go ahead and grab the number. But my best suggestion is using the email. So that's the easy way of queuing it up. So given that, it seems like the rate of questions are slowing down. What I'm going to do is I'll stay on as long as necessary. But I want to thank everybody for your time today. And I know it's a busy day. We took exactly an hour. Again, thank you for your valuable time. We'll stay on for as long as necessary to answer other questions. And enjoy your day. Don't forget to download this material for your future reference from the Materials app from your plugin. Again, thank you, Chris, Hector, and as well as everybody who attended here, and look forward to hearing back from you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks all.